Good morning. What's up, guys? Hope you're all having a good morning here so far. Let's get at it here today. You are looking at a 2-minute chart on NQ. We are 42 seconds out here from the rollover of this 2-minute bar, and ATR here is a beautiful thing. We're looking at a 20.5 on the ATR. So let's get to work, man. Let's do it. What's up? Where's everybody at? Let's get to it. We're going to be copy trading here today. As typical, I'm going to start with some Apex and some take profit trader accounts. So we'll see if we can get something done here. Clay, what's up? Hey, Tony, good to see you. Good morning, guys. Okay, so as far as news today, I mean, listen, we have NVIDIA earnings this afternoon. That's about the event of the quarter. So, are you guys going to trade that? I mean, realistically, the earnings will hit. They'll do the phone call at 4. That's Central Time. So, you're not really able to trade the actual call. There's really not a good security to do it. I mean, unless you're going to trade NVIDIA itself, which, I mean, I guess. But, you know, if you're going to trade earnings on NVIDIA, just make sure that the prop you're trading allows that. You guys know earnings are 50-50, man. So, but if you want to trade the aftermath, if you're going to trade earnings, I say trade the aftermath, probably on the ticker itself. So we're talking stock, believe it or not futures. All right, we are 38 seconds out here. ATR is sitting pretty good. 20.6, see if we get something interesting on this bar. Yet I'm looking at a range. Most likely. Kind of a wedge. We'll see if that volatility starts to collapse a little bit. Josh, good morning. How we doing? All right, a whole lot of wicks on these last 3 bars. Nothing I can do there. So we'll go next bar here, minute 40 out. Take a look at the 1-minute chart. Yeah, you know, actually the 1 minute's not looking too bad. There's enough data in these bars if we want to trade it. We'll keep that in the back of our head. I'm going to swap back to the 2-minute. Eric, how we doing? What's up, Lucky? Good to see you. All right, 20 seconds left here on this bar. If the bulls could pop this higher, I would be interested in shorting it. But looking like we're going to get an inside close, so I'm going to have to hold off. Actually, let's see here. Inside close there, you see that? I'd really need to see this guy close up here. So we'll take this next bar. We're a minute 55 out. Yeah, let's see if the Bulls can put something together. Again, at this point in the day, all I'm thinking is range, range, range. I mean, I'm not really interested in betting against the range, meaning betting on big, giant breakouts. But we'll take what the market gives us. If the range can widen out, which it's not, it's really not that tight. I mean, this, if you wanted to call this a full-blown range here, realistically, you're probably looking probably 70, 80 points. So, you can take continuation inside of that range. But again, this wedge on a smaller time frame, this would look a lot more like a wedge. This is the 2-minute chart that we're looking at right now. So keep an eye on that. Minute 8 out. All right, rollover coming here. 5 seconds. I don't think we're going to get anything on this bar either. Wicking back. Ooh, that is ugly. All right, next bar, 2 minutes. Hey, Peter, how we doing? All right, we're going to clean that up. The more consecutive bull bodies we get here, I mean, we've really only had one sequence since the open where we had 3. Is that right? Yeah, I mean, we had 3 sizable bear bodies back here shortly after the open. And that's been it so far. So if the bulls can put together a sequence, I'm no longer interested in getting short, meaning a 3-bar consecutive bull bar sequence. Now, yeah, this is a wiki bull bar. It's close to a doji, but the bulls did claim it. Right here, by the way, what we're coming into, that's the 20 EMA on the 5. It's rated about 554. So we're testing that right now. Got to keep an eye on that 20 EMA on the 5. All right, let's get a stop limit buy ready here. Five seconds out. If the bulls can close that near the high of this bar, got to slap the stop limit buy and see if we can get a fill. We'll slap that. Suck that back just to, there we go. Beauty. All right, watching this flat top here. If we don't get a fill, really in the next like 5 seconds, got to pull it. Got to pull it. No trade. Next bar. Minute 40. Vanny, good morning. How we doing? You know, so this is one of those ones that's kind of tough to look at. I mean, there's arguably just a tremendous flat top here, but we've really yet to see a second test. And then there's a wedge going on at the same time. So there's really a couple of bets you could take. If you wanted to bet on this bigger, these horizontal blue lines, right? A bigger range, then you'd be looking for a consecutive bear bar here and go for a minute 45 out. If this closes beneath that previous bar's wick low, or especially this one, if it closed beneath this one, I'd be getting short. But if it closes beneath this wick low, there's two arguments, like always, right? There's, well, this is a wedge, and then, well, this is a bigger range. We're going to suck back into the bigger range. Right now, at this exact moment, we just don't really have enough information. But that can all change, minute 15 out. Really, I think right now what I want to see, what tells us pretty much everything, is does this become a thing? That will be answered here shortly. Here we go. Let's get a test. All right, that's a pretty clean bull close right at this potential flat top. What do you guys think? Does this become a double top? Or do we break through? There's quite a bit of room to try to reclaim that little pre-market push. Up toward maybe 620, 621 region. So let's see if the bulls can hold this. If they do, all of a sudden I'm looking for any excuse to get long. Minute 9 out. All right, bulls. Let's see it. Let's clean this up. Get rid of that flap. Let's see here. All right. We are 25 seconds out. Copy trader engaged, ready to rock. If the bulls can close this near the high of this bar, I'm going to have to put out a stop limit buy and see if we can get a fill here. Macro's way across the room. All right, we're locked in, ready to rock. Stop limit buy out. See if the bulls can give us a half decent close up top. Roll over in 2 seconds. Ooh, see that glitch? Put that out there. There we go. Give that about 20, 30 seconds, see if we can get a fill. Come on, bulls, take it through. And we will. Gotta fill. Suck this risk up. There we go. ATR 17. Good push there out of the bulls. Come on now, bulls. Show some backbone. All right, we got 16 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. ATR still 17.3. Good close out of the bulls. Good, good. Take it up through. There you go, bulls. Ooh, damn close. Finger on the trigger, ready to hit it. Boom, there's half an ATR, and we will get a fill. All right, good scalp. Let's move on here. Next bar, 43 seconds out. Brandon, good morning. How we doing? Big old bull bar here, man. All right, that's an outsized bull body. So, could I get long here? Yeah, absolutely could. It's just a little tougher to manage risk. Can anyone tell me why? It's kind of a nuanced question. If you're a scalper, you'll probably get it. See how the range on that bar is 23 points, damn near 23 and a half points. What's ATR? It's less than 17. Okay, so realistically, what would I expect to look for? Anywhere from 8 to 10 points. Okay, but I'd have to risk the whole signal bar. I can't really make a lot of sense of risking half the signal bar, at least not for me. So I'm risking 25, 24, 25 points to look for half an ATR, because that's an outsized bull body. I can't make sense of the structure of that trade. Yeah, stop loss too big. Yeah, Vinny, also good point. That rubber band mentality. Yeah, sure. In a range market, yes, that's valid. Yeah, I mean, the stop placement, for me, it is obvious. It's the signal bar, the wick low, the signal bar plus a point. It's just too big. I can't make sense of the structure. Now, if ATR was, 37, and this signal bar is the same 23 points, all of a sudden we can make sense of that. How do you define an outsized bar, Nico? I just look at it. Discretionary. If you really want a rule, you could look at a bar that's, significantly larger than the ATR. And I would say with an ATR of 16 at the time, a 23-point bar when the rest of the bars ranges have been this is pretty outsized. It's just content. I mean, just at the end of the day, just look at it. Discretionary. Gotta update all my daily goals here. So you may notice we are trading NQ now. They're gonna bump these all quite a bit here. Bear with me for a second, guys. Hang on, I'm just updating my... I'll be done in a sec. I'm just updating my daily goals. I'm doing a whole bunch of math. All right, I think we're good for now. All right, 90 seconds out here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see if we get something interesting. All right. 17 seconds out here. I would need this bull bar to grow quite a bit more than where it's currently sitting to at least match this previous bull body in size. It's going the wrong way here. Looks like we're going to get an inside close, and we will. So next bar, 2 minutes. Now, you guys know when this kind of thing starts to happen, you get kind of a tight push. You've seen this a lot. My number one concern starts to be this. Does that happen? I don't want that to happen, but if it does, you got to be aware of that so we're not, trying to get long up here without enough confirmation that this is not a thing. I don't like to say confirmation of the move, even though I guess that is the correct term. I think it just... people misinterpret that a lot. Confirmation is like, okay, in this fog that we live in as traders, I think the probability here is about 60% at best. That's confirmation. There you go, Bear's trying to take you right back into that. Let's see if that turns into a sideways little trading range. Yeah, Vinny, this is a very good question. So, Nico, how do you adjust your probabilities for a negative reward to risk ratio scalp as opposed to a 1-to-1? Okay, so this sounds like it could be a very complicated thing, but hear me out for a second. The futures market especially is quite efficiently priced. Now, it's not perfect. If it were perfect, I wouldn't be here because we wouldn't have an opportunity to make money. The Forex market is more efficiently priced, I believe, than the futures market, which means there's less margin to actually develop an edge, and the Forex market is so unregulated, it is just riddled with fraud and a whole bunch of bullshit that it sucks. It's like bottom of the list down with trading crypto. Forex is awful. You cannot trust the broker, you cannot trust the price you're getting. Futures is such a good option because these are securities that were built for trading and hedging. That's it. They are trading tools, pretty much. Okay? Shout out Chicago for doing it the right way. New York needs to get on board. The PDT rule, what the fuck? But these were built to be trading tools. They're very efficiently priced, yes, but they're not perfect, so we can still develop an edge. That's very good news. So, all that to say, how do I adjust the probabilities for a negative reward to risk trade? It does it itself. I don't really have to do anything. I just find a high probability setup that I think makes logical sense. All the ones you guys see me take, at least 80%, 90% of the ones you see me take. Some of them are going to be obviously in hindsight mistakes. But that's all I'm looking for. And then the probability, since it's pretty efficiently priced, works itself out. If you go with, if you just buy, sell any random time during the day, you're pretty much 50-50 if you remove commissions and fees. You're pretty much 50-50, right? So if you find a reasonably high probability setup, now you're like 55-60, let's call it 60-40. Good, that's an edge. Now, if you take the same setup within context that makes sense still for negative reward to risk, meaning the risk isn't too large in comparison, all the stuff you see me do every day. Since it's efficiently priced, the probability comes up because now you're risking 2 to try to make 1 or something like that, not 1 to make 1. So the probability of success goes from, maybe let's call it 55-45 up to whatever it is for you. Okay, the edge remains pretty similar. So to answer your question, it does it itself. We don't really have to do anything. because of the efficient pricing of the market. Gaines, good morning, brother. How we doing? Rufio, good to see you. All right, we are 53 seconds out. All right, here comes the rollover. See this? This is just ugly. There's nothing we can do on that bar. So next 2-minute bar here, minute 55 out. Let's get rid of this trading range and let the market kind of develop whatever it's going to develop. It looks like we might be coming into this kind of deal, but a lot of times this turns into a sideways range. Yeah, see that? Yes, sir. Brandon, new hours are going to be pretty much market open. And then we'll stream for 3 hours-ish. Maybe a little longer sometimes. That'll be the new window. So, hey, if you guys haven't yet, hit the like button. Get a push to our regulars so they know what's up. So 1 trade so far on the day. Quick scalp. It was a good scalp. Now we're just waiting for something else to present itself here. All right, minute 50 out here. Again, another 2-minute bar that we just can't do anything on. This will clean itself up. It will, don't worry about it. But this is really common when you get these tight, hard pushes that you get this for a little while. It's really, really common. We've been seeing that a lot lately. Again, hey, representative of a range market, right? In trend markets, these little things are a little more short-lived, or you might get a little pullback and then the trend might continue. In range markets, you tend to make a hard push and then it loses steam quickly. Hangs out like this, a lot of wicks for a little while as everyone kind of goes, what the fuck's going on? Pat says, got killed at open, working on recovery now. Hey, that's all right. It's all right. Did you break a rule? If you broke a rule, you should be disappointed about that. If you didn't, the hell is there to be disappointed about? You did your job. All right, 20 seconds out. I am going to get the copy trader engaged. Let's see if we can get a clean bear close. If we can, I'm going to have to buy that using a limit order, and I'll risk this little curl here and bet on this range. Oh, come on, bears. The no backbone bears strike again. Nothing. Inside close. Nothing there. Next bar, minute 55. You know what, Pat? Listen, when you guys, all you guys, when you don't break a rule and you just lose, I seriously, like, there's literally nothing to be disappointed about. I get it. You're like, oh, this sucks. We all want to make money, but does the casino owner or, I don't know, who's in charge of revenue at a casino? The pit boss? I don't know. Do they get all worked up when someone comes in and wins and then leaves? Nope, because they have math, and math doesn't fail. All right, we got 35 seconds here. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit hesitant to short bull closes. I would much rather buy bear closes, because if we're shorting bull closes, I mean, look what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a soft bull trend intraday since about 850. And if that resumes, I don't really want to be on the wrong side of that. And here you go. I mean, it's all a confidence question. I think the Bulls have a little more confidence right now than the Bears. So if the Bears can get a little more confidence temporarily, I would like to try to fade their confidence and watch it evaporate. But the Bulls here, I mean, I could arguably get long here. It's just that range right now is too much of a risk. So I want one more bar of information. We'll see if that turned out to be the right call to not get long there. Again, I'm a little concerned that this range is going to be a little longer lived than the Bulls are thinking right now. But if we do get a nice clean bull close that pretty much matches the size of this bar, close enough, right? Within reason, without getting too big, that's when I would get long. Now, pre-market, we had kind of a peak at least coming into the open, 90 minutes or so out, at 621, 23,621. So that's right here. So we're kind of coming into that. Now, again, pre-market levels, do they hold as much weight as intraday levels? No. Are there as many stops? No. But there's some. There's going to be a few. Ooh, you know what I'm seeing, actually? There's people talking about this. I saw this myself. This is something we could probably discuss. Hold up. 12 seconds out. I got to get the copy trader engaged. Let's see if we can get a trade here. A nice low bear close, and I'm going to have to slap this guy on. It's not very low, is it? I'm going to give it one more bar. Okay, back to NVIDIA. What I've been seeing, and I've been seeing people talk about, is this is the first earnings in I don't know how long. Probably, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was maybe 2 years? No, it was maybe at least 2 or 3 years ago. Something like that. There was that first earnings that NVIDIA beat big, And it was the first one that everyone was like, oh shit, Nvidia's taking off. And the stock skyrocketed after hours. And that started this whole Nvidia craze that's been going on now for however the hell long. This is the first earnings that I've seen where there's more premium being baked into the puts than there is into the calls leading into it. Again, I looked at this, I saw this myself, and I've seen people talk about this as well, which is really interesting, which means that you have a lot of bets being placed, probably deeper out of the money on the put side than we've seen basically in the last, I don't know, however long that first earnings on Nvidia was. 2 years maybe? I forget. Now watch, it's going to skyrocket, 25%. And those puts are going to get burned. But it's something to think about. It's interesting. Basically, you're not looking at a predictor. You're just looking at where the bets are being placed. It's like looking at the line. You can get some information, if you're someone who, I don't do this, but if you're someone who bets sports, the line is often pretty damn accurate because you get a big sample size of opinion, right? Now, in the market, it's similar. You can look at the pricing on the options and say, well, okay, what the hell are people thinking? What's the smart money thinking? What's retail thinking? What's everybody baked into one thing thinking? And it's just the reality. It doesn't mean it's going down necessarily, but the reality is this is the first time really that the puts are a little more expensive than the calls, premium-wise, being baked in, heading into Nvidia earnings, which is interesting to think about. What's up, Ono? How we doing? Doing well. All right, 90 seconds out. Ooh, okay. Ooh. We gotta think about this here. 5 seconds out. Let's see what we get on the roll over here. I'm gonna punch that to the long side, suck this risk up, keep that risk tight. Looking decent here so far. Tight risk, that's well justified there. Quick little scalp, 7 points, half an ATR, better than half an ATR. We'll take that and move on. Good second trade of the day. Next trade. If you can structure something within reason that isn't a rule break, put it on, man. Accept the outcome. You lose, fucking get over it. This is the big leagues. This is a game for big boys. If you don't want to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, you will not make millions of dollars. If you don't want to lose millions of dollars sometimes, you're not going to make tens of millions of dollars. You get it? This is a game for big boys. This is a game for tough stomachs. You want to risk $2 to make $4 million? Go play the lottery. Tough love time, man. That's the truth. Hey, BB, good morning. How we doing? All right, we got 18 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Basically just recouping that bigger bear bar. Yeah, not much for me to do there. Joe, you know the drill. Corner, 20 minutes. What's up, brother? How we doing? All right, minute 15 out here. We're 2 trades in on the day. 2 good trades so far. 2 nice little scalps. All right, 40 seconds out here. Let's see. I mean, I don't know, man. Let's just see what this bull bar does here. Hesitate to even call it a bull bar because this bar is doing nothing. All right, big old doji close there. All right, guys, quick break. Back in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. And I missed literally nothing. This market has gone sideways with a bunch of 2-minute wiki bars since I left. We've got 11 points now on the ATR. That's all right. We can work with 11. I'd like to see that kind of beef up, though. Above 15 would be great. Above 20 would be better. John. All right, we have 37 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. All right, copy trader engaged. Let's see here. If we get a nice low close out of the bears, I do want to buy it with a limit order and bet on the range. Limit buy out. We'll suck that guy up nice and tight and just see if we can get a push back up into the range. What I'm really looking at here is this kind of deal. Or you could draw it like this. Just a range in general. I don't like to overthink the range. Just kind of draw it however you think makes sense. And then if it's time to punch it, and manage as you go. 1 bar at a time. ATR is 11. All right, we got 1:10 left here on this 2-minute bar. See if the bulls can step in or if the bears end up closing this up into a consecutive bear bar sequence. If they do that beneath this wick low, I'll have to cut it and we'll move on. But until that happens, I'm in the trade. Of course, protective stop is out. Just in case anything happens here. All right, 20 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. All right, now again, if the bears close this nice and low, it would have to be clean. It cannot be a wiki bar. All right, then I'll cut it and we'll move on. Let's see here, 5 seconds till the close. Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. That was a pretty ugly close out of the bears. I gotta tell you, I wouldn't have gotten short on that bar, but I'm cool sucking the risk up. Okay. Let's see here, ATR is 11.5. We just get a headline? Well, either way, my risk is managed here pretty damn tight. So let's see if we can get a nice push here out of the bulls. It's quite the push out of the hole, though. See if they can give us a little more follow-through. Come on, bulls, get it done. See how tight my risk here is. I just want to see the bulls drive this thing out of the hole, and if they can't, and if they reclaim the wick low of that previous bar from the current bar, Just cut me and move on. Come on now, bulls. Drive us up out of the hole. Really not a big fan of this wick back here out of the bears on that last little bull body. We have this kind of look to be concerned with. But honestly, if I were going to draw this, we'd probably just have to draw it like this. I mean, right? So I'll leave the trade as is. I mean, anything I could do right now with my risk this damn tight would be kind of nitpicking. So let's just let the thing play out. Sometimes I think when your risk is this tight, if you're like, I just want to cut it. It's like, well, I mean, you put it on for a reason. Has everything changed? It's like, well, no, everything hasn't necessarily changed. What we got is that wick on the previous bar. Does that change the entire range? No, not really. So sometimes I think cutting it early is maybe an emotional decision. I get it, as silly as that sounds, because a lot of people cutting early is a good habit. But I think, you know, as you get deeper, maybe cutting it early is an emotional decision a little bit. 5 1/4 points, that's half an ATR. We'll take that. Good, that's what we needed. Half an ATR. Oops, gotta flatten the copy trader here. There we go. And we're out. Alright, trade number 3 on the day. Kind of a small guy. We'll take it. Move on. Alright, clean this up as we go here. Well, 3 trades so far today, 3 winners. I mean, the market's kind of slow, but things are going well. Let's keep going here, see if we can grab trade number 4. Okay, John, good question here. Is it market conditions that has you trading less accounts / size and moving to NQ? I'm not necessarily trading less accounts. I'm still trading at least 2 groups. Obviously less contracts because, yes, I'm trading NQ. Now, all you guys, if market volatility all of a sudden out of nowhere quadrupled and ATR at this time of day was 40 on the 2-minute chart, I'd have to go back down to MNQ. But right now, MNQ, it's just too small for me. Now, could I trade, you know... I don't know. I mean, could I trade like 8 MNQ in some accounts and like 15 in others? Yeah, but at that point, I'm paying so much in commission that I should just bump up the 8 MNQ just to 1 NQ and then trade a couple of NQ in the bigger accounts and then trade them in 2 groups, which is what we're doing. Now, do I still think that starting in MNQ is by far the best way to go? Yes, and in more volatile market conditions, I will be back on MNQ. I'm not married to anything, but right now, NQ makes sense. It's just, if we end up in a market condition like 4 months ago, where you're seeing 40-point moves in less than a 2-minute bar, especially less than a 5-minute bar pretty consistently, like all day, NQ is too big, even for my bigger accounts. All right, we're about a minute out here from the close of this 2-minute. I'm interested, but that descending resistance that we're looking at, I mean, you can see it without me even drawing it, right? That has me a little concerned, because those descending resistance levels with kind of flat-ish bottoms, it's kind of an ugly flat bottom, but you could call it a flat bottom, I guess. A lot of times what happens is you get that wedge kind of mushing down the contract, the price, and then it spills through. Now, what happens after it spills through? Probably chops around for another hour. But when it spills through, I don't necessarily want to be sitting long. I mean, I would take the bet. You know, we also have the 20 EMA at 585 on the 5-minute chart. So that, you know, doesn't hurt to have that there, but I'm not going to take the bet on the 20 EMA holding it on its own. There would have to be something else. By the way, guys, today is the last day, sadly, of the Apex 80% off single day pass deal with code BIG. Of course, it's the best deal always, but the deal is ending for everyone. So if you want to grab some Apex accounts, go hit code BIG at Apex, get 80% off. I don't know what it's going to be after this. They don't release that. They don't tell me. I don't think they tell anybody. So if you want to wait, you're gambling. Which might tempt some of you, so maybe I shouldn't say that. Some of you guys are sickos. All right, minute 15 out here. Hey, KC, how we doing? All right, now again, keep an eye on this here. Kind of what I'm talking about, right? Right. We're a minute 10 out. If we did, by the way, get a nice clean bull close. Oh god, ATR is beneath 10. Already? If we did get a nice clean bull close right about here, like 601-ish, maybe 602, I would punch that short. And I'd probably keep risk. Well, I mean, here, let's get a fresh set of eyes on this. All right, 17 seconds out here. Let's get the copy trader engaged. If the bulls do give us a nice clean close near the high, like 601 or 602, I'm gonna punch it short using a limit order. Little low, little too big of a wick, holding off. Next bar here, minute 53. All right, half decent little bear close, inside close. You see this right at the wick of the previous bar. Too indecisive, need more information than that. Next bar here, minute 50 out. Let's see if we can grab trade number 4. ATR sitting at 9.3. Well, this little range is kind of nuts. This is one of those ranges where I look at it and I think, okay, today's Wednesday. It's 10:21. The ATR is 9.8. And NQ is in a brutal little range. I'm a little concerned that it's going to randomly just break out hard one direction or the other. Which direction? 50-50. That's not going to stop me from trading it. I mean, I will trade this little range if we get a decent outside close. I'll try to kind of look for a mean reversion fade within reason if it's contextual. But, you know, you kind of think that that's coming. A lot of wiki bars here. The 5-minute is even worse. So, hey, listen, if you're just joining us, 3 trades so far, three winners, 3 scalps. If you want, you can pop back and take a look at those 3 trades using the DVR feature here on YouTube. Don't be too long, you might miss something, baby. All right, minute 13 out here from the close. Decent little bull body here. All right, 26 seconds out from the close here of this 2-minute bar. Let's see if the bulls can give us a close. I would like to see them close it between this wick high right here and like this wick high. So between 605 and 610. Let's see if they can do that. And if they can, then I will have to punch this short with a limit order. Ooh, they're wicking it back. Oh man, that's a sizable wick. I gotta hold off. Next bar here, minute 52. All right, Bears. 45 seconds here. Let's see if the Bears put something together. All right, 20 seconds out. Copy trader engaged. Let's see here if the Bears can give us a nice clean close near the low within reason. I'm looking to punch it long using a limit buy. All right, Bears, hold it down there. Punch it. Limit buy out. Do we get a fill? And we will get a fill. Suck that risk up. Risk is set. ATR 9.25. And we will manage bar by bar here. All right, Bulls. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Back up into that trading range. Come on now. All right. 58 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see how this closes up. $30 seconds. All right, now protective stop is of course out, but I want to see the price action here of this bar. You know, if the Bears do close this beneath where my cursor is, on a bar that would put me short if I were flat. Then I need to flatten. Finger on the trigger, 5 seconds. See if they do it. It's right there. You know what that calls for? Let's suck this risk back up. Second time we're doing this today. Same scenario. We'll suck that risk up right there. You see how that was just an even close with those wicks? To me, I can't just cut it immediately, but I probably should suck the stop up a point beneath the wick low of that bar. So we'll do that. Risk is very, very tight here. It's like 8 points. Less than 8 points. So we'll see if the bears take that out. If they do, we'll cut it and move on. First, let's have those bulls drive it up out of the hole. This feels very, very reminiscent here of, what was it, trade number 2 of the day? I forget. Maybe it was the last trade. My memory on these trades is so bad, which is a good thing. All right, let's see if we take this out. Teasing that stop loss. Come on, bulls. Drive it up out of the hole. Back into the range. It's enough out of the bears. Very close. That came within 1 tick of stopping us. The probability at this point on this trade is not tremendous. But I just gotta let the stop work. Now, a big question that I'll sometimes get is, hey, in this case, does it make the data look better to just cut it right now? Because the probability is not good. So why not save a couple points? Well, I mean, this is a sliding scale, right? It's a spectrum. It's always an equation. I don't think it necessarily makes the data look better because there's a very low probability at this point that from our current open P&L on this trade, we get a high reward to risk compared to saving that couple of points. You know what I mean? So I guess I like to cut down on my decision making as much as possible within reason and still follow the plan. So if it doesn't make the data look tremendously better, which I don't believe it does, because it's, again, sliding scale spectrum of the equation, I just leave it. Let it work. Let it do its thing. I mean, the risk is so damn tight anyway. ATR 9.5. Come on, bulls. Push it into the money. Back into the range. Weak bulls. Down in the low end here of this sideways trading range. Oh, look at that doji close. That is ugly. Ugly. Just let it do its thing here. I mean, listen, the decision making is complicated enough. Okay, that'll cut us. They gave us a glimmer of hope. That's okay. That'll cut us. We'll move on. First loser of the day there. That was trade number 4. All right, 90 seconds out. Bears are battling, by the way, to kind of claim that 20 EMA on the 5-minute, which currently sits about 589. So we're right about there. We're pretty much right on it. The 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart. This is a 2-minute chart, of course. 35 seconds out. Let's see how we close up. Oh man, will this market do something here? Come on now. ATR is 9. I gotta say, I really think this is going to increase. It just that volatility compared to this morning fell off a cliff fast. But I don't think it's down for the day. I mean, 9 at this time of day is pretty damn low. $17 NQ contracts is 170 MNQ. Am I correct? Yes, that is correct. NQ is 10 times bigger than MNQ. To say that mathematically exactly the same, but a little more correct, MNQ is 10% the size of NQ. Because it came second. All right, we got to go next bar here because, again, I am looking at this. You can draw like that, I guess. I don't know. Just draw it how you think most people would. You guys act like scaling was never the plan. That was the plan the whole time. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Time to go big. Within reason. Now don't just trade NQ if you can't afford to trade NQ in the account you're in. I'm not going to apologize for scaling. That's fucking stupid. $50 seconds out, baby. We got a close coming here on this 2-minute. Hey, if this bar closes nice and high in this range. See that? I'll bet against the breakout. Let's see here. It's got to be within reason. All right, copy trader engaged. Yeah, I mean, here, I'll put a sell limit One tick above that close. We'll give that about 10 more seconds, see if we can get a fill. If not, gotta pull it and move on. Yeah, gotta pull it and move on. Next bar here, minute 38. Christian, what's up, brother? How we doing? Yes, NVIDIA earnings tonight. I don't know, man. You'd think the market would be a little bit more excitable. But sometimes you get set in stone early in the day and it just kind of waits around. But I gotta say, you know, if I had to guess, I think we're probably going to see that ATR come back up. I really don't think we're going to be below 10 all day. That would be shocking. All right, 10 seconds out here. Let's see if the bulls can give us a nice clean close near the high, and if they can, I will short this using a limit sell. Limit sell is out. Do we get a fill? And we will. We'll get a fill. I will risk high of day curl. And if they take out that high of day, I no longer want to participate. ATR 8.7. Come on, Bears. Suck it back into the range. Do it to him quick. Oh, baby. Oh, don't you like when that happens? Gotta love when that happens, but when that happens, I don't sit around and wait. You just take it. I don't know what, you don't know what the hell's going on. All right, next trade. That was trade number 5 on the day. That was a hell of a trade, huh? What's up, Ryan? How we doing? Chris. Good work on the funded accounts, brother. 11's a good place to sit. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, when you get that kind of bar, when you're in a trade in your favor, just pull it, man. The trade has changed. You don't know what happened. Someone might have said something. The algos get it way before everybody else. Just take it. Move on. I'm not going to sit around and wait. I mean, what are we expecting? A 300-point dump-off? I mean, come on. We're trading, even trading, you know, personal, I would just take it. But trading prop especially, even if you do catch some massive move, you're probably going to have payout issues now because it's so outsized compared to your other winners. So just take it, move on, reassess, figure out what the news was, if any. You know, and again, this is the kind of thing where it's like it happens in your favor too. So when it happens against you and you get a big, you know, big giant bull bar that stops you out and you get a bunch of slippage, remember, it happens in your favor equally as often. Nah, Jacob, we don't get offended, bro. So to be offended about, man. We're scaling. That's a good thing. But I know. Yeah, guys, volatility's lower. And with my accounts, there's so much room. It's time to get bigger. So we're scaling to NQ, which, again, has always been the plan. But I get it. People don't like it. But you should want to get big, man. That's what we're about around here. But again, hey, I explained this a little earlier, but if volatility, for example, like ATR is 11.5 right now on the 2-minute chart. If that said 37, I would be trading MNQ because NQ is too big for that kind of ATR. Glad I woke back up from a nap to catch that short. After that short, you man, wake up, hit that one, go back to sleep. Your day's done. Ninja, good morning. How we doing, brother? Good to see you. Okay, so to catch you up if you're just joining us here, by the way, hit the like button, helps out tremendously. I appreciate you doing so. We're 5 trades into the day. Upper right. We've taken 4 winners, 1 loser so far here. And the day's going pretty well thus far. You know, I mean, with the price action being what it is, I'd say things are going pretty well, all things considered. But let's keep rocking. We are 34 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Now, by the way, hey, just a quick heads up. I use the Affordable Indicators copy trader, as you guys probably know by now. And a few of these accounts, if we get another trade here, I assume we're going to get trade number 6. So we're not done, man. Some of these accounts are pretty damn close to their daily goals. So you might see current position, if we're in the money, switch. Because I just have it automatically pull it. You know, I think you should think about these things when you're trading prop. In a personal account, you wouldn't do that because that would kind of be a rule break. And I guess you can do it however you'd like. But in prop trading, I'm more concerned with optimizing for the no one winning day being more than 30%. So you don't get denied payouts, right? So you are eligible for payouts, at least with Apex, okay? Now, like Take Profit Trader, that's not an issue. In a pro account, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so you might see adjustments mid-trade on the contract size, which is normal. Oh, big old bar here. You know it's bad when the big old bar is 11, 12 points. But ATR is creeping up, man. Back to 11.5. That's very good to see. This bar definitely helped out the ATR. So hopefully we can get volatility pouring back in here. All right, here comes the rollover. You know, honestly, guys, that bar's a little outsized for me It's pretty much into, I mean, it's just barely not at high of day. I mean, where my cursor is right now, that's the previous high of day. Not pre-market, but after the bell. That pre-market level that we saw maybe about an hour, 70 minutes before the opening bell is at 621. So I think, there you go, look at that. There's the test of that. So I want to see what happens around here. I'm not really interested in doing too much because can I stop hunt it? Not really. I mean, it's a pre-market level. There's less stops. If it happened right after the bell, you bet your ass I'd be stop hunting that, but no. No, the way that it currently sits, I can't. So we sit and wait for a little more information here. Take it 2-minute bar by 2-minute bar. All right, we're 12 seconds out here from the rollover. And this is kind of into high of day, but this is a shrinking bull body into high of day. The wick is not tremendous, but it's there. So can I get long into that, knowing that we're in a range market? I can't. I can't. I'd like to, but I can't. That would be out of context, which for me is a rule break. If I know something, you know, obviously no one's perfect. Like, I'm going to make, in hindsight, errors, but it's not really a mistake or an error because, you know, in the moment I thought I understood the context. If I actively understand the context and I still trade, now that's a rule break. That's a betrayal to myself, which is how you think about it. More importantly, that's a betrayal to your family. Fuck yourself, man. That's a betrayal to your family and the people who are relying on you and giving you the opportunity to sit at the computer and do this. And saying, yes, go get that shit. And then you're doing that. Don't do that. Okay, we're 20 seconds out here. Let's see if we can. If we can get it close, I don't want to see it beneath 610, because then the risk gets a little sizable. Yeah, we're not going to get either one. I'd want to see it beneath that previous bar's wick low and above 610. It's kind of like a 2 or 3 point range. We didn't get it anyway, so inside close there, next bar. Which account size do you prefer? Okay, so I'm going to just give you guys the straight up kind of truth. Not kind of. Let me just give you my straight up truth. Let's talk Apex. The 300Ks are tremendous. They're great, okay? They're hard to pass. You can pass them, but the ratio is a lot harder. So, like, your success rate on passing the evals is going to be lower. The max payout, at least when they're capped, on the 300K accounts is $3,500. On the 50K accounts, it's $2,000. It's not like 3 or 5 times bigger on the max payout. It's a little bigger. Okay? The 50K accounts are so much, okay, let's say it, easier to pass. I really don't like using the word easy in trading, but let's just be straight up. They're fucking easier to pass. The 50Ks, way easier to pass. You can get more of them. If you blow them, you can replace them so much easier and without the headache. It's way less stressful, okay? But you have to trade, of course, a bit smaller in the 50Ks. But ratio-wise, just getting to the payout, it's not much different because you trade bigger in the 300Ks. Okay, so once you get the 300Ks passed, they're no different. You're just trading like 2 or 3 times bigger. But as far as headache and the business model of prop, and if you have to replace a few accounts here and there, the 300Ks are a headache. The 50Ks aren't really, because you can pass them with relative ease, a pretty high success rate, once you get a little bit better. So I think if your goal is to just get payouts like ASAP, hit the 50Ks at Apex. Now the 150Ks are a great balance, a wonderful balance between the two. So I would say, my tier level, let's ignore the 100K statics and the 25Ks for now, because I think for most people, the 100K statics are kind of slow. You have to start them out really slow. So let's just say, like, straight up for most of you guys who your goal is to just get payouts. Number 1 is the 50K. Number 2 is the 150K. Number 3 is the 300K. But reserve those, I would say, for maybe no more than 5 out of your 20 accounts, because you just want to have money coming in as consistently as possible. And the 300Ks, if you blow them to replace 20 300Ks, oh my God, it's going to be a headache. It's going to be a headache. And honestly, I don't know if it's worth the headache. So 50Ks, I like the 50Ks a lot. And I think for most people, that's probably the best option to keep you in the game and getting some money coming in. The probability goes up that you can pass them and then therefore get a payout. Or 100. Trev, why would people want evals if you can just get a prop firm that bypasses that? Yeah, by the way, I was told, I have some news for some of you guys. Some of you guys probably know this already. It is out there. So I am allowed to share this with you. You know what Apex is releasing? Some of you guys are probably like, yeah, dude, this is old news. I know this. A lot of you guys don't know this. Apex will soon, very soon, I did not get a date, but they said very soon, they're releasing straight to fundeds. No eval. Okay. Now, Trev, to answer your question, why would people want evals? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to if you want to go through the eval, the all-in cost is probably going to be less. Well, it is going to be less. But, so if your success rate passing the evals is really good and you want to keep expenses a little bit lower, then you go the eval route. But Apex, baby, straight to fundeds are coming. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. They're dropping soon, I was told. They're like, it's dangerously close, but we don't know what day yet, but it's coming. So I'm all pumped up about that. Nico, tell them to up the accounts from 20 to 40. I could tell them to up it from 20 to 100, but they're not going to listen to me. They have a business model that works, man. 20, hey, I hope Apex someday raises that to 40. And then I think what I would do is probably trade. I don't know. I'd probably trade 2 groups of 20 rather than 4 groups of 10. Because that would be a lot of trades that would probably not be high enough quality trying to trade 4 groups. Maybe you do 3 groups of like an off number. 3 groups of 13. All right, 60 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute. We're not getting a lot. I mean, there's a reason why I haven't taken a trade in a little while. We're 5 trades in on the day. Again, for those of you guys joining us, we're running 4 winners so far, 1 loser. If you'd like, you can check back on the DVR feature and see all of them. I was thinking 1 group of 40, but different ratios. Yeah. The reason that personally I wouldn't do that, like, again, we're talking hypothetically, if Apex raised the limit from 20 to 40, hypothetically, that's not in the plan, at least as far as I know. But the reason I wouldn't do that is because I once had a copy trader, and now I'm terrified of copy trader glitches. I had a copy trader. My leader account was set to 1 micro. And it rapid fired and built out 100 micro position in like a quarter of a second or a half second. And all of my accounts got pushed to the max size. And boom, before I could even blink, I got like 100 errors. Not 100, but I got a whole bunch of errors that all the accounts were blown. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It was very frustrating. The copy trader, they did make it right. You know, they reached out and they're like, hey, this happened to a few people. You were one of them. Can we make it right? And I was like, that's a very cool thing for them to do. But, you know, that can happen. And the prop firm isn't going to, you know, they're not going to be like, oh, we understand. Because that's part of the game. I mean, realistically, it's our decision what tool to use. They're not responsible for the copy trader, the prop firm, Apex, Take Profit Trader, whoever. But the reason I trade multiple groups is to hedge that risk. So you're not left with, you know, no fundeds if something crazy does happen. Not to put that out there, but yeah. All right, 40 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. All right, guys. ATR is 9.6. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a couple-minute break. I will be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Maybe the market will move 400 points by the time I get back. Hopefully. One can hope. Be right back. All right, welcome back. There's the rollover, that 2-minute bar. Big ol' inside close after a doji previous to that. So next bar here, we're a minute 52 out. Let's see what we get. How you guys doing today, by the way? Are you guys trading all right? Having trouble? Kind of a weird day. I know there's a lot of people out there having trouble probably today, just looking at the price action. You want to vent about it? Feel free. But it's none of our business if you don't. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you. All right, we're 57 seconds out here from the close. All right, we are 17 seconds out. Copy trader engaged. Let's see here. Let's see what we get. I am going to put out a stop limit sell. Just in case we get a reasonable close here. You gotta be, yeah, that's a wick back. No trade there on that bar. Next bar, minute 56 out. When the market really slows, oh God, I didn't even look at the ATR. Why didn't anybody tell me it's below 8? Jesus, what was it, 9 when I left and now it's 7.9? There we go, 8.1. There we go, market. Let's do something here. All right, now we gotta be really careful because we're coming right into the 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart. That is at 6:02. So the 20 EMA on the 5 is right about where my cursor is at. Which means I can't sell that bar. It's not enough. The 20 EMA is not enough for me to take a trade, but it's enough to stop me from taking a trade, if that makes sense. So there's nothing I can do there. Gotta hold off. A little more information here. Next bar here, minute 47 out. My ATR, it's not in days, it's in bars, so mine goes 10 bars back. So we're on a 2-minute chart, so it goes back 20 minutes. We're scalpers around here, things happen quick. All right, we're still sitting at that 20 EMA on the 5, so still got to chill out here. Next bar, we need more info. We need more information. By the way, guys, for those of you curious, I am currently trading Take Profit and Apex accounts. Okay, again, today's the last day of Apex 80% off single day pass with code BIG, B-I-G. Okay, that ends today. But Take Profit Trader is still 40% off and no activation fee, which is a monster deal. Same code, code BIG. Now, if we could only get a nice big push down through the 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart, we could actually do something here. That is still sitting at about 6:03. There we go. There we go. I think that's the secret, man. You just got to tell the market what to do. All right, we are 33 seconds out. All right, Bears, calm down, calm down. Copy trader engaged, 15 seconds out. Let's see if the Bears can give us a nice low close with a much smaller wick. Then I gotta place that stop limit sell. Yeah, I'll give that 15 seconds absolute max. That is nothing more than a 15-second setup. 10 more seconds here. 5 seconds. No fill, gotta pull it. Gotta pull it, no fill. Next bar here, minute 40. right. Stop limit sell ready. Ooh, that was too quick. You guys see that? We rolled over instantly. Gotta push through. That'd have been too fast even if I had it hovering there. Too quick. You know, it's funny. These bars, they look big, but they're really not. These bars are like 9-point range bars. Yeah, I mean, the 5 minutes looking a little better. There's nothing wrong with the 2 minute. It's just the range on these bars is a little small. But, I mean, honestly, if the price action's clean, I don't mind that. HR is 9. I just don't want those bars getting much smaller. All right, 36 seconds here. Now, if the bears could take this down and close it pretty much at the wick low without growing much more than this, that would be a stop limit sell entry here for me. But the bulls are wicking this back upside. I think the bulls are trying to look at this kind of deal, right? They're like, yeah, I mean, this general vicinity, right? I mean, yeah, that's kind of the low. Has been the low. I mean, look at this. Same line. Yeah, no trade there. Next bar, 2 minutes. Yeah, Michael, good look. Good look. Yeah, from about 490. To 630. So we're looking at pretty much, 560. 23,560 is kind of the 50% retracement point on the day. I gotta keep an eye on that also, man. Now, why is that 50% retracement important? Well, it's really only important for one reason. People watch it. But secondly, all those shorts who averaged in all day throughout this move, as it went higher, they kept averaging at 50%. The average of all the averaging shorts can kind of get out around break even. And they're thanking their lucky stars. They're praying to, they don't even know who at that point. But they're getting out break even. And what does it look like when shorts get out break even? Well, they buy, right? They buy it back. But I gotta be honest with you, I still have to get this ready just in case, because we're not there yet. I can't place it. Wick's too big. Next bar, 2 minutes. All right, coming in. Again, 50% retracement point at 23,560. Look at this. What is that? 8 consecutive bear bodies? Damn. The bears are getting in the work done, man. I mean, we've had one bull body in the last 14? Holy shit. Good God. Crazy thing is, the whole move has only been 65 points. All right, we're right at that 50% retracement point. So while that would be a setup for me normally, I can't throw it on. I mean, we'd be in the money on it, but I can't do it. That's a rule break. See the bulls stepping in right away, pretty much. Again, it's never like that 50% is not a guarantee. It's just we know within reason that there's going to be some buying interest there as shorts try to get out break even. Is that going to outweigh the selling interest? Who the hell knows? Who knows, right? But it's enough to stop me from taking the short. Even though, man, that's a hell of a setup. Big bear body, though. That last bar. Yeah, Lucas, someone turned on the sell program. Have any of you guys, I'm actually really curious, are any of you guys sitting there right now biting your nails because you've been short since 625? I know at least 2 of you out there just looked up at your screen because you're like, shit, is he talking to me? Pat, back to green on the day. Good work. All right, we're 30 seconds out here from the close. All right, ATR 10.8. Copy trader engaged. Stop limit sell is ready. Can we get a reasonable close here? Ooh, and we will gotta place it. Do we get a fill? No fill yet. No fill yet. Give that 8 more seconds. No fill, you see that? Gotta pull it. No trade, next bar. Minute 41 out. Damn, that got within a tick or two of filling us. Again, we're scalping. When I don't get quick resolution, I do not want to participate. And here the bulls step in, kind of right around that 50% retracement. It's never an exact number, right? It's just a range. Yeah, that's a good question. What do I need to get long here? I need at least 2 consecutive bull bodies closing near their highs. Same size or growing is what I need here. Now, 1 bull body closing above this previous bar's wick high, which it just overtook. If it closed like right here, it would not be wrong in my head if someone came to me and they're like, yeah, I took that long. I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? That was a good trade. You were just early, which means that the probability is a little bit lower. Reward to risk is a little bit better. For me, I like to wait for at least 2 after a big, big push like that. I mean, shit. What is this now? Still 14? No, 15? Out of the last 15 bars, not including this new one of them was a tiny little bull body. So this big outsized bar, am I going to jump on every opportunity to get long? I can't. It'd be a rule break. For me. If it's not a rule break for you, man, punch it. But don't do what I say. It's probably as good a time as any to pop that guy up. Trading is risky. Most traders lose. All that shit. You guys know the deal at this point. $30 seconds out. What we just talked about, we're keeping an eye on here. If we get another same size, similar size, or growing, not or growing. I mean, the bar is already a little big. It makes my life too complicated to manage risk. To be honest with you, I wouldn't want to see this next bar grow. But we're 10 seconds out, so pretty unlikely to get an entry on this exact bar anyway. Yeah, look at that. Big old wick. That's going to close as a tiny little bare body. All right, next bar, 2 minutes. Man, that 5-minute chart is looking brutal right now because, I mean, you look at this on the 2-minute, on a slightly higher time frame, like the 5-minute, this right here is a brutal, what some people would call maybe a shooting star doji, depending how you look at it. Huge wick on the 5-minute is what that looks like. All right, here comes the rollover. Inside close. That bar closed inside of this previous bar's wick ends. So, next bar here, minute 50 out. And we are trading a 2-minute chart right now. 20 seconds here till the roll over this 2-minute bar. All right, we're 1:13 out here. We have finally, out of the last 4 bars, the most decisive bear body, or I guess body in general, in the last 6 or 8 minutes. So at this point, there's a couple of thoughts, right? Thought A, in no particular order, is does this become a thing? The other thought is if we that's growing too much. Bears, calm down. Yeah, son of a bitch. Push through already. Took out any stops that were here. That shoots my stop hunting mentality in the foot. All right, 30 seconds out. This body's about 30 points in size with an ATR of 13. Yeah, there's no trade there. Let's see how this bar closes up. At least for me. All right, 60 seconds here. Now, you know, when you get a big body like that as the previous bar, just previous to this current bar that we're on, it gets kind of sloppy, right? Because it's like, well, pretty much any close within reason is going to be an inside close of that previous bar. Unless you don't really go lower at all on this bar, and then you just close it above the upside here, in which case I would need another bar anyway. All right, so we'll get that next bar here in 25 seconds. See how this one closes up, and then we're probably going to need more information. All right, 55 seconds here. Let's see if this bar can put something together. Bulls are trying, man. It's just I'm a little concerned with this range. You know, we saw this earlier in the day. Here. Remember this? Today? You get this tight bull push. Turns into a trading range, essentially. Now we get this tight, hard bear push. Do we see the same kind of trading range? I guess I lean toward probably. But bulls are trying, so let's see here. Well, there's an outside close. Just barely outside of that previous wick. This range still concerns me, though. Still concerns me. So, all right, back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. And this market is still seeing if it can break out of this little range. Let's clean this up as we go here. Let's see what it can do. DH, is that a Breaking Bad reference, my friend? There's a big push. Look at that. 30 seconds out here from this 2-minute bar. And by the way, hey, 20 EMA on the 5-minute, right at 588. Right about there. So we're coming into that. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, man, as we're coming right into that. Here comes the rollover. All right, that's going to close pretty much on top. At least here on the 2-minute. That 2-minute bar is going to close pretty much on top of the 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart. So let's see if the bulls can push that through. If they can, give us another bar similar to this one, I'll be looking to get long. ABB. Just got my first Apex 50K using code BIG. Good work. Hope to see you take lots of payouts. All right, minute 25 out here. Let's see. All right, 35 seconds out. Now, if we can get the bulls to give us a I'd like to see this bull bar close a little bit higher. Just because I really don't want to deal with 50%. There we go. 50% retracement here. Copy trader is engaged. 10 seconds out. I will get a stop limit buy out and ready. And see if we can place that. And I will. I'll have to place that. Suck it down. That's actually the right placement. Okay. See if we can get a fill. Give that 5 more seconds. ATR 11.5. And we will. We'll get a fill, just barely in time. Suck this back up. Keep wrist damn tight. We'll wrist the signal bar, and that's it. See if the bulls can give us a little bit of a push. There you go, bulls. Keep that up. Oh, shit. Hold up now. There you go. I hit daily goal on one of the accounts. Remember we talked about that? All right, let's see here. Good push, bulls. Keep it going. ATR about 12. There's half an ATR. Can we get a fill? And we will get a fill. Beauty. There's trade number 6 on the day. Let's move on. This is the 2-minute chart. All right, so that's 6 trades on the day. That is 5 winners today and 1 loser. Michael, 4 out of 4 today. Good work. Yes, always nice to have a good day when you scale up. That's the old thing in trading. I mean, there's some truth to it, but a lot of it is also a fallacy, right? People, it's always kind of the truth. Like when you scale up, kind of expect a higher probability that next day is a red day. I think a lot of it is just due to emotion on the scale up. People make worse decisions, which is true. No, Jose, 1 point. Okay, so 1 NQ contract, which is what we're trading today, is $20 a point, or $5 a tick. There's 4 ticks in a point. Okay, so I had what? I started that position, I think 17. Yeah, it was 17 contracts, and then it took it down to 15 because I hit daily goal on one of the accounts. So 17 contracts is $340 a point. You guys haven't yet, man. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I appreciate you doing so. All right, we got a minute 10 left here on this 2-minute bar. That last bar was the first bare body in 5 bars. Big old wick back here out of that bar. All right, guys. Hey, today's the last day of the Apex sale. Okay, we have no idea what it's going to be next. 80% off, single day pass using code BIG, B-I-G, ends today. If you're trying to scale at Apex, go hit it today. I have no idea what the next sale is going to be. They do not tell us. So you're gambling if you wait, because 80% single day pass is a pretty damn good deal. Take Profit Trader is 40% off, no activation fee with code BIG, B-I-G, baby. All right, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow morning. All right? Right around market open. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a good afternoon if you're trading the afternoon here.